Today, another child takes the stand detailing the alleged sexual abuse she survived at the hands of a man accused of killing 13-year-old Naziah Harris. That testimony and new DNA analysis playing a key role in determining whether Jarvis Butts will ultimately stand trial for murder.
If you are unfamiliar with the case, let's get you caught up with a quick timeline. Naziah Harris went missing almost 2 years ago to the day. It was January 9th, 2024.
Her remains have never been found, but prosecutors arrested this man right here. He's 41-year-old Jarvis Butts. Arrested him on September 27th, and today he was in a Detroit courtroom for a preliminary hearing. Sean Lay was in that courtroom for all of it. Sean, prosecutors say there is a clear motive here.
There is, and we're going to get to that right away, guys. This is just like the Zion Foster case. You're talking about a teen allegedly abused by an adult here, then goes missing, presumed killed. We're talking about Naziah Harris, just 13 years old. Her body has never been found. Her family continues to try to find justice in this case. Here are the new details we're learning inside court today.
Everything is in my phone. Y'all have possession of my phone. Take a look at it. Go through it.
Look at the Sleazeball.
This is the first time we're hearing the voice of Jarvis Butts. He is 41 years old. He is accused of the sexual abuse and murder of a 13-year-old girl named Naziah Harris. She was related to one of Butts' many girlfriends, and he called Naziah his niece. The teen was last seen with Butts after school last January 9th. Then Naziah Harris went missing. Police brought Butts in for this interrogation during a search for her, where Butts told police everything he knew about the girl was on his cell phone that police seized during a search warrant. You have to listen very closely to pick up what Butts is saying, but he says he has nothing to hide. A co-worker of Butts testified that Butts and Naziah Harris were at their auto repair shop the evening Naziah Harris vanished. But Butts told investigators the last time he saw Naziah was weeks before. Going on here. All right, back here live. This preliminary hearing, this isn't a trial, guys. Preliminary hearing goes into day 4 tomorrow. More than 24 witnesses already, 6 more witnesses tomorrow. That's because no remains have ever been found, so prosecutors are having to connect the dots all the way. They say it goes all the way to Jarvis Butts, much more at 6 o'clock.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a second because I'm getting ready to switch over to the preliminary hearing. All right, just give me just 1 second. It's going to be silent for just a second while I switch over, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Donna Just Being Real. Channel's all about dating, love, relationship, toxic relationship advice channel. All right, if you need to reach out to me, look in the description. You'll find my email address. We can go from there. All right, we're back at it again. We're back at this preliminary hearing. All right, so now we're going to be covering this lady here. I might have her name wrong, Telicia Moore. I'm not quite sure. If anybody knows, put in the comment section. Let me know so I can correct it. But definitely the last name is Moore. I'm not quite sure, but she's some sort of related to him in some way, maybe through baby mama. We'll listen to it together. We're gonna watch this together, okay? And make sure what you do is share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. Hit the like and also share me out on your social media if you can, if you like, and all that. And also feel free to go back and check out my playlist because I have the playlist of this one of everything I've been covering with this preliminary hearing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it. So the focus is this lady. Now, she's another one who's the last person to see this angel. Yep, she's one of the last people to see it because they was all driving around. I'm still trying to understand why would this little girl be riding around with these grown men? But, you let me know. What do you think? All right, let's get it. Oh, and the speed is going to be on 1.25.
At this time, people would call Telicia Moore.
Look at him. Look at it. Look like he want to cry. I heard his mouth is busted up. This is why he wears the mask. I could be wrong. That's why I heard that they, they took care of him in the jailhouse.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
Yeah, look
Yeah,
like
he
he
had a
want to
root
cry.
canal.
Yeah, he in pain. Look, Jack. Look close. That's a man in pain. He keep blinking his eyes. He's in pain. Look, you didn't learn the last 10 years
Did
you
you
was
say your
locked
name for
up.
the record?
Telicia Moore.
And
He was
Okay,
given
I
gum
see
job.
Ms. Moore, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, but first I want to ask you, do you know someone by the name of Cordell Wright?
I do.
And how do you know Mr. Wright?
He is the father of my nephew, my 17-year-old nephew.
So your sister's son?
Yes.
Got it. And is that how you met Mr. Wright?
Yeah.
Or your sister?
Yes.
Okay. And in what context is your relationship with Mr. Wright? How did you know him? Did he ever do anything for you? Things like that.
He fixed my mother's car. He worked on her car.
Okay. And what kind of car does your mother drive?
A red Jaguar.
And what's your mom's name?
Jacqueline Campbell.
And going back to January of 2024, where were you living at the time? Not your specific address, just the city.
Ypsilanti.
And who else lived with you in Ypsilanti?
My mom and my son.
And would Mr. Wright ever come out to Ypsilanti to fix your mom's car, her Jaguar?
Yes.
How often did he do that?
Like a couple times, at least 2 times.
And was that around January of 2024?
That was the last time.
In January, was the last
Yes.
time. And when he would go out there, would he bring anyone with him?
This last time he did.
What about
For the
prior?
last 2 times. So before January 9th, him and someone else came, and then on January 9th, they both came.
Okay. And the person that he brought with him, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing he's wearing?
Well, I can only see the top of his head right now.
Are you 100% sure that it's that person?
This may be the last ad you see. With Pi AdBlock, visit your favorite website.
Could we have everyone remove their masks, Judge? Just for a brief moment.
If everyone in the courtroom could remove their mask if they have one on, please.
I want to see him without the mask. I want to see.
Ms.
I
Moore,
want
you
to
see the
see.
person that Mr. Wright brought with him,
I do.
and could you point to him and identify a piece of clothing he's wearing?
A
You're not gonna
green
show us.
one-piece thing.
For the record, the witnesses identified Jarvis Butts, the defendant in this matter.
So reflected.
Thank you. And you said Mr. Butts came out how many times with Cordell?
At least 2. So this last time in January and the time before that.
Okay, and the time before that, who was anyone else with the two of them?
No.
And what were they doing the time before January 9th?
Working on the car. I can't remember. It was a couple of things they had to fix on it. And they came out and did it in the driveway. And
Sorry.
I was just gonna say the last time when we got the car towed to the shop and they drove it back up.
Okay. And so in between the most recent time before January 9th, the Jaguar, correct me if I'm wrong, was towed to Detroit?
Correct.
Okay. And then on January 9th, did you see that red Jaguar again?
Yeah.
Okay. Who brought that Jaguar out to Ypsilanti?
Cordell and Jarvis.
Okay. And was anyone else with Cordell and Jarvis?
Yes.
Who is that person?
I see you, good karma.
And I want to clarify, at the time on the 9th, when Cordell, Jarvis, and Naziah came, did you know that that was Naziah Harris?
No,
Do you know that now?
I do know now.
And is that based on information you learned or seen in the news and things like that?
Well, it was based on when the detectives came to the house to question us. That's when I found out who she was.
But at the time on the 9th, you didn't know?
Mhm.
Is that a no?
No, yes or no, I did not know.
Now, let's talk about when they came out on the 9th, January 2024. What was that interaction? How long did it last? Can you kind of take me through start to finish their visit and delivering the car?
So they came, they delivered the car. They were talking to my mom about what was wrong, gave her the invoice. It was just like a regular day when they came in, they sat on the couch for a few minutes. Naziah was sitting in the chair by the TV. We spoke, very brief. Asked her if she wanted something to drink. She didn't. My 6-year-old son ran up to her, the dog. It was just very mellow. They sat there, we talked about the car and stuff. We talked about my nephew. Cordell was trying to wait till my nephew got out of school, but because he was on tether, they had to leave, so they didn't get to stay long enough for my nephew to come.
And your nephew would be Cordell's son?
Cordell's son,
Okay.
correct.
Did you talk to Mr. Butts about Naziah? Did he introduce her or anything like that?
We just asked, hey, everybody spoke. He said this is his niece, and that was pretty much the basis of it. I cannot remember if he said her name or not, but he did introduce her as his niece.
And so, just to be clear, not sure about the name, but he said this is his niece
Mhm.
about Naziah.
Mhm.
Is that a yes?
That's a yes, I'm sorry.
And then after that conversation, well, let me ask you, during that time when they were there, did you notice anything that was unsettling or concerning about Isaiah?
No.
It was just a normal interaction.
Yes.
After that interaction was over, did the three of them, Cordell, Jarvis, and Isaiah, leave your house?
Yes.
Okay. And as far as you know, they were headed back to Detroit, right?
Correct.
When they left, whose car were they leaving in?
Cordell's truck.
And all three of them were in the same car?
Yes.
And you said that they were delivering the Jaguar to your mom or to your house, right?
Yes.
Did you see them pull up? Do you know what the driving and seating arrangements was?
I do not.
I have no further questions.
Thank you, Russ.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So you're technically not related to Cordell, right?
Correct.
That's just the uncle of, I'm sorry, he is the
The
father
father.
of your nephew. Okay. How would you say your relationship is with Mr. Wright?
It's cool. Like, no issues.
You got along with him well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And you know Cordell worked as a mechanic?
Correct.
Okay. And how long has he worked on your vehicles? Was this something new or had he worked on your vehicles previously?
I think he might have changed the oil on one of my cars a couple years back, but not that frequently.
Okay. And you knew he had did you know he had a shop that he worked out of?
Yes.
Okay. Had you been to the shop?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that there was a time prior to January 9th that he came up and worked on the car, correct?
Correct.
And you said that my client was with him that time.
Correct.
Okay,
Do you recall when
DT,
that was?
no problem.
It had to be in the summer. I cannot recall the exact date.
But it was summer of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And that was the first time you had seen Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
Did you say anything to him that day?
Yes.
The
We
first
talked.
time?
Yes. We talked about me being a member of Zeta and that he had a cousin or somebody that was a Zeta. We all went to O'Reilly's to get some parts or something for the car.
Okay.
Stopped and got something to eat, came back, but it was very mellow, like.
So that summer of 2023, you had a fairly decent conversation with him, correct?
Correct.
And it lasted for a period of time, correct?
Correct.
So on January 9th, when you saw him, you knew who he was.
Correct.
You had recognized him because you had spent time with him, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So you had the car, and you knew that he was partnered with Cordell at the shop, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So on January 9th, approximately when did you have the car towed down to his shop?
I think we had it towed maybe like the 4th or the 5th.
So it was there from the 4th, okay? And it was the 9th that they brought it back?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know approximately what time the car was brought back?
It had to be before 3:30 p.m.
It was
No, no. It had to be before 5:30 because my sister got to work at 5:30. So mid-afternoon,
Okay. But you're not sure the exact time?
I'm not sure the exact time.
Was it light or dark outside?
It was still light out.
Okay. And they came up, they pulled the Jaguar in first, the driveway,
Correct.
right? And then Cordell's car was behind it.
I believe so.
Okay. When they pulled up, did you see them exit the vehicles?
No,
Okay. So you don't know who was driving?
I don't.
Okay. So at that point, they came into the house, correct?
Correct.
And did they all walk in together? Or
Yes.
Okay, so Cordell came in, followed by Jarvis, correct?
I can't tell you the exact. I don't know if Naziah walked in first or Jarvis walked in first.
Okay. And this young lady. And to be fair, you didn't know who she was,
Not
correct?
at all.
Do you recall what she was wearing when she came?
I think she had on a jacket. But I can't really.
Don't recall?
No.
Okay. Do you recall what any of them had on that day?
Not really.
Okay. So do you recall, without going into your house, was it dark, light in your house? Were the lights on?
The lights were on.
Okay. And you have a fairly large living room?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they came in, You said that Naziah sat next to the television.
So yeah, like when you're coming in, there's like a red cabinet type thing. The TV sits on top of it, and then there's a chair like a, I don't know, a chair sitting right next to it, and that's where she was sitting.
Okay. And when she came in, did she introduce herself?
She did not.
Okay. So she came in, sat down, right?
We offered her to see, like, came in, Cordell said hello. He was doing most of the talking. Jarvis said hello. I said, this is my niece. Then it was like, y'all have a seat.
Okay.
Cordell sat on the couch. There's a couch this way, and then a long couch this way.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, I believe that they were both on this couch. Naziah was in the chair, and me and my mom were on the longer couch.
So your mom was there?
Yeah.
Right? All right. And you all were conversing, correct?
Correct.
And it's fair to say that you weren't conversing with Naziah, correct?
No.
You were conversing with Jarvis. I'm sorry, you were conversing with Cordell.
Cordell and Jarvis about the car and the invoice that they brought.
All right. And you said at some point your son came up and was talking with Naziah?
Correct.
Okay. And how long did this conversation last?
Like all of our conversations?
Right. How long were they there?
Probably between like 30, 45 minutes,
Okay.
maybe an hour.
And while they were there,
See, what's crazy is this little angel, correct? I just don't see a girl that age just driving around different places with two men. And it seemed like Cordell was claiming that this was his first time seeing her. I stand to be corrected. If I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section. Let me know the replay watchers. So if something just doesn't add up. The only way that I feel that this little girl was that comfortable to run around with this big dude and this other one, she must have been around this man. You've seen this little girl. Cordell, you've seen her before. And if I'm correct, she said they introduced her as the sleazeball's niece. But then the sister, if I'm correct, was asking, and they said, no, that was Cordell's niece. It's just a hot mess. Too many people be lying on this stand. Too many people. All right, let's get back to it. And the next one I'll be doing, I'm going to focus on the sister, Sleazeball sister. That will be the next one. And then after that, the judge. 2 more. And yeah. All right, let's resume. But it won't be today. We're just focusing on her today.
you didn't notice anything, and I think you already mentioned this, you didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, correct?
Correct.
Did you see Jarvis Butts conversing with Naziah Harris?
No.
So they didn't have any conversation?
No.
Okay. And you didn't notice anything awkward or out of the ordinary between the two?
Correct.
Okay.
I didn't notice anything.
So after about an hour, they left.
Correct.
Was it light or dark?
It was still fairly light.
All right. And they got into Cordell's car, correct?
Correct.
You don't remember seeing that, I think you've already
No,
said
I
that.
did not.
But was Cordell driving?
Correct.
Okay. So that day you didn't think anything out of the ordinary happened, correct?
Correct.
And at some point you were contacted, correct?
Correct.
When were you contacted?
Well, we were contacted by Cordell the next day because when we paid the invoice, it was $70 short. So we had to get Jarvis's Cash App to send the rest of the money. So that was the last part of the conversation. And then the detectives came, I want to say the end of March.
So the end of March. So
I believe. I don't know the exact day, but it was at least a month or two later.
and it was when the detectives came, is when you found out that the person that was in your house was Naziah Harris, correct?
Correct.
All right. And did they tell you that this person was Naziah Harris?
They asked me if I knew who she was, and they asked me if I knew who Cordell was. They showed me a picture of Mr. Butts. They asked me if I knew who all these people were, and they asked me if I knew her name, and I did not know her name at that time.
Okay. And they told you her name?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay. And at any point, did you look up why they were there or look up any information about this case?
Yeah, after they left.
After they left.
Mhm.
Okay, and what did you look up?
Objection, relevance.
I just want to see where her information came from.
As long as the results of what she looked up.
I want to see the information that she had that go into her testimony.
Go ahead.
There's obviously there's podcasts out that are a bit unfaithful.
It's not obvious.
Well,
I don't know.
Okay, you don't know. Okay. What did you look up?
I looked up Mr. Butts' oldest record,
Okay.
but I tried to type in his name, I typed in Cordell's name, tried to see if anything came up. At that time, there wasn't anything posted, but I didn't find much, other than his record.
Okay. Just one more. Yeah. No further questions.
You need redirect?
Yeah, very. Ms. Moore, Mr. Reagans was just asking you about information that you looked up and things like that. When the police were at your house, though, the detectives were at your house, first, do you know if those were Detroit police officers?
Yes, Detroit police detectives.
Detectives, okay. And you said that they showed you a picture of, in court, you said Naziah, right?
Say it one more time.
They showed you a picture of Naziah at that time, correct?
Correct.
Did you identify that picture when the police were there as Naziah Harris? Did you say her name?
No, I said that's the mechanic's niece.
So just to be clear, you identified her as the girl that was at your house
Correct.
with the defendant, Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Oh. And that was before you had looked up any information.
Correct, because I didn't know anything until the detectives came to the house.
And while Naziah and Jarvis and Cordell were at your house, you said Naziah was sitting next to the TV?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And did Naziah, during that 30 minutes to an hour, ever get up and leave, use the restroom or anything like that?
No.
And you mentioned earlier that Cordell was on a tether and that's the reason he had to leave, right?
Correct.
Do you know what Cordell's tether hours were at that time? Like what time he had to be back home by?
I don't know.
How far of a drive is it from Detroit to Ypsilanti?
Probably about 40 minutes.
And what was the reason that Cordell had to leave again?
Because he said he had to be back in the house for his tether.
Okay.
So it was a 40-minute ride. And this young girl, okay, help me to understand, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, where the heck am I here? So she's just driving around with them for 40 minutes. If I'm correct what she's saying, so it's 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. This little angel, she's walking from school. She gets off the bus. She goes to see the sleazeball. And then this other one here, allegedly, I think it's about 100% sure, but, look it up yourself. Well, this man, Cordell, he beat up his baby mama while she's pregnant. And it's just crazy. And you two is business partners? This is really something else. But remember, we have the trial that's coming up. And when the trial comes up, more detail. And get ready, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's going to be more silly women getting on this stand. That fiance kills me. I never heard of a fiance, but you ain't never been to the man's house. He comes late night, he leaves in the morning. That's not your man. That's not your fiance. It's not your boyfriend. You're nothing but a booty call. Resume.
So did it seem like he was in a little bit of a rush to get back, or he was cutting it close maybe with that drive, 40 minutes?
No, I think he had whatever he needed to do, and he just wanted to make sure he was in the city on time.
But is it fair to say that he would have left somewhat closer to his cutoff time? If that's the reason he left, or that he said?
Yeah, I think that calls for speculation on her part.
I was going to say, I don't. I'm sorry.
Do you want to respond?
If she knows, I think it's a close call.
If you know the answer.
I don't. I don't know. I can't say.
I really further questions.
Okay, you are done testifying.
Thank you.
Watch your step. Ms. Ripley?
Yes, Judge. At this time,
You see her reaching over. That's the lead detective, the one who read the text messages. All right, I'm just gonna close out on this. This was it. This was a short one. I just wanted to hear her because she was one of the last people to see her. But next thing we'll do, it'll probably be Saturday afternoon, and we'll focus on the sister on the stand. The sister, the Sleazeball's sister, because she was one of the last. She's one of the last people to see the Sleazeball. I can't stand him. I hope you getting the greatest treatment. I heard they doing all kind of things to you. I don't understand. You went to jail for 10 years messing with children, and you didn't learn your lesson. You do not need to breathe on this earth. Why were you born? All right, you know how we
They call
do.
them gummy mouth.
Yeah, they taking care of you. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's have a moment of silence for the angel. And then stay tuned for some more of Donna Just Being Real. If you didn't hit the like, make sure you hit it now. Moment of silence.